no plot. Hi, this is Morgan. Quick warning, there are spoilers for the books that we discuss in here. We list them at the top of the show. You don't want to hear anything? Check in later. We also read books with disturbing themes, so maybe also check back later. Bye! Or enjoy the episode, I don't know. It's up to you.
Oh, how do you want to start this shit?
We always start like that. That's exactly how we start. How do we do this?
How do we begin?
So we can just go over what we read, which is what we normally do.
What did you read?
I read, I'm doing great. I've got one book.
As always, you really never let me down.
The Viscount and the Vixen with Lorraine Heath. So I haven't read her before. Okay. I don't think.
Okay.
I at least don't recognize the name. Obviously I picked it up because it has Viscount in the name.
Yeah.
I really don't care about the Vixen part. But she does look very Vixen-esque on the cover. She
does, in that blue dress.
That is untied in the back, falling down.
Wow, yeah. Scandalous.
Whether I really think she's a Vixen, that's a different matter. We'll get to there. What did you read?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. I've got 6 books on the list here. Alright, so I read Beneath the Mask series. We talked about the book 1, which I can't even remember the name of it. But book 2 and book 3 I read, Detonate and Devoted. And then I read the Windsors again, because I can't leave them alone.
That's the, scheming grandma.
Oh, yes.
Family will drop their family in a heartbeat.
Yes. They're not dedicated to the family at all. But I read books 3 and 4, which is The Unwanted Marriage and The Broken Vows. And then, of course, a Meghan Quinn book. Had to throw it in there. The Way I Hate Him. And then the book that it's a thing. Still Beating by Jennifer Hartmann. That one, oh goodness. So how did you end up with that book over there?
I'm so glad you asked. It's not as if you don't know,
I know
that we went to a book festival.
I just really want to talk about it.
That we went to a book festival where they had a used book sale that benefited the local library system. Yeah. I'm very happy that I gave them $32 for 59 books.
59 books. We got 59 books for $32.
And what's amazing about it is that we mostly picked books for each other, and we both came out with a very similar stack.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Speed running, not reading anything about them, going strictly off of covers.
Does it mention English gentry? Does it mention billionaires?
Is it a hockey or sports romance? Yeah, we definitely have our categories.
No thoughts, vibes only.
And I think we did pretty well. I haven't got into mine yet, but I see you've at least started.
Yeah, I got into mine immediately. I was like, alright, I'm ready, let's go.
That's fair.
Well, I had run out of the historical romances and was just dealing with the hockey books, and I think you remember my feeling of the last hockey book I read.
To be fair, those are the first ones I read, and we've moved on, we've learned, we've grown, and I have different books for you to read, and I think you just need to go away from Elle Kennedy and her off-campus series.
I have to read, I have Dean's book left, alright?
You're just not gonna like him.
I'm not gonna like him, I already hate him.
You're not gonna like Dean, he doesn't get any better, and I know it's not gonna go well.
I already hate him. But I'm gonna give him and Abby, whatever. I'm gonna give her a
her name is Allie, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't matter. We'll figure it out when you eventually read the book.
Yeah. So.
Which is never gonna happen. It sounds like.
I'll get there. I promise.
Sure. All right, tell me about it.
Okay. It's lust at first sight.
Oh.
It is not love. These people are ready to fuck from page 1. Page 14, I wrote down, he's hard. He's been hard the entire time he's seen this woman.
Immediate.
But the plot is that, so he's the main guy. His name is Locke. They always go by some abbreviation of their last name instead of their first name, which his first name is Killian, but his last name is Loxley, so she calls him Locke, and that's what his name is.
Okay.
So the plot is that he's kind of he's a former rake. He's retired, He's not reformed. He's retired.
How can you retire?
Well, his dad is kind of going insane, so he goes and lives with his dad in the, in, I don't know, the moors.
Okay.
On their estate. Because his mom died in childbirth, and his dad is like haunted by her ghost out in the woods, and so he runs out into the middle of the night to chase his dead wife's ghost. So the son has to chase after him and bring him back.
I think this man has mental
which
issues.
interrupts the wedding night.
Oh.
Which happens the exact same day he meets the lady, because the dad's like, you know what, if you're not getting married and giving me a child, I've got to marry someone and get an heir.
This is a nightmare. What are you reading?
The dad takes out an advertisement in the newspaper, and one woman responds, red flag.
I mean...
And they have a little bit of correspondence. And she tells him that she's like a widow. She tells him that she is fertile, but the baby's gone. And he's like, yeah, okay, that's great. You're not married. You can't have children. Check, check. Please come marry me. And she's like, yeah, sure. I've got nothing else going for me. So she shows up. The son, Locke, learns about this the day she arrives.
Oh my god.
Like, he and the dad sit down for breakfast. And he's like, Dad, where are you here? Because he's dressed up nice. Not, like, unkempt. And the dad's like, well, you know, you gotta look nice on your wedding day. And he's like, what?
Oh my god.
So she shows up. Her
Yeah.
name is Portia. I feel like she chose kind of a sexy name on purpose.
Well, yeah, you have to.
But her name is Portia. She shows up. She's got on, like, the nobility airs. You know, she's trying to make a good impression for a Viscount.
Uh-huh.
And the son is like, no freaking way.
Oh god.
and they kind of have an interview, and the dad's like, you know, I mean, if we don't marry her, we have to pay her 10,000 pounds. That's in the contract that I signed and wrote up. And the son's like, 10,000 pounds? It's like, yeah, I mean, but it doesn't have to be me. You can marry her instead.
Wait. You're telling me... No. No. Okay, yeah.
So it turns out this was a whole ploy to get his son to marry someone.
I mean, you can marry them. I don't have to do it. Okay.
Yeah, well, Locke is like, I have to
Sure.
protect my dad from this gold digger. But also, this woman doesn't deserve to marry a crazy lady. She's super hot, and I've been hard from the first moment I saw her. It's like, at the very least, I would have a lot of sex. And he's kind of like what he tells her. He's like, the days are yours, but the nights are mine.
Oh god, okay. The nights are mine.
And she tells him the exact same story. Yada, yada, yada. And he's like, don't you have any family? And she's like, no. So it's like half of the way through. And all you're really getting is these two having sex. Like, there's just... By like, page... what is it? By page 246, I was like, I'm done. I don't need any more smut. Like, it's like, I'm over it. Move on. So, because for the first chunk of the book, they don't leave the house.
Oh.
And, like, the dad had let the house kind of go into disuse, where every other room was locked up and not used since the mom died.
I mean, why would you use the rest of your house?
So she starts, you know, going, well, can I just, like, have some rooms to myself? So she just starts redoing some. And it's also, you know, bringing the dad back to life a little bit.
Oh, good lord.
And then it turns out she's pregnant.
No.
Oh my god. Who would have thought that this woman who was very desperate for a marriage would have gotten pregnant from, like, the wedding day? So that gets brought up, and it kind of comes out that she was already pregnant. It turns out she was someone's mistress. Now, she was tricked into being the mistress. She was one of those, you know, young, innocent women who was promised that they would get married. And the guy kept just, like, put her up in London, basically, on Mistress Row. And she's like, I didn't mean to become a mistress.
I really thought he would eventually marry me.
Oh, God.
And what happened is, and I didn't look up to see if this was real or not, but he was going to have her baby, like the man who she was a mistress for, was going to have her baby killed. Like taken care of by an old woman. So she ran to save her child's life.
Oh.
Yeah. And Locke is such a good guy that he doesn't really mind. I mean, like, he minds that she lied to him.
I mean, the whole...
But he's like, yeah, I'll raise the child. But she runs away. Well, she's like, I'll annul the marriage. She felt really, she did, like, have a conscience the entire time where she's like, she felt bad. And she's like, maybe it's a girl. Maybe it's a girl. Because then the girl can't inherit the title. It turns out to be a girl at the end, don't worry.
Oh, thank God. We don't want it bastard inheriting the fucking title.
And you know, I looked up the Goodreads reviews, and a lot of people are like, she's so manipulative and deceptive. And I'm like, okay, but based on the book, the baby would have been murdered. Have a little sympathy.
She was doing what she thought she had to do, people.
In like 1812 England, she didn't have a lot of choices.
She was probably gonna get murdered.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. Maybe have some sympathy for her.
Give her some grace, damn. I know some of these people are like, always pointing out, they're like, well, this person's terrible. It's like, it's a book. Calm down. Okay, let's move on.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with your, like, purity culture.
Like, God forbid a girl be a little manipulative to get what she wants in life.
Which involves saving
her child.
Yeah, like...
It's not a good situation.
Yeah, you know?
That's why she answered an ad to get married to some crazy person.
But I do think that's my red flag is if they answer your ad
maybe
to get married and that is a bit of a red flag, which Locke does pick up on.
It's, yeah, I mean, like, why are you willing to do this, lady?
Yeah, he just is like, you're a gold digger, and he tells her that the entire time, and she's just like silently taking it because she doesn't have much choice.
I mean, yeah.
So he's not exactly the nicest.
No, I would also accept it and be like, yes, I am. I'm here for all of your money. Now what are you gonna do? You married me.
Yeah.
Like, he still married her to save money.
He did. He still married her.
Because he didn't want to lose money.
Yeah, 10,000 pounds.
He's no better in this situation. He also values his money.
Yeah.
What's the issue here? God.
Otherwise, I don't think I have, yeah, I do have to say, this was just the most ridiculous scene.
And go.
She redid, I don't know, a drawing room, a day room, a music room, a room with a piano in it. And so she sat down and she started playing. The guy, the husband, was in there watching, and he went down on her while she's playing the piano. And I'm like, this is already ridiculous. What is happening?
Morgan.
And then the dad walks in.
Morgan. That exact scene that you are describing happens in The Unwanted Marriage. She is a piano prodigy. And he tells her to keep playing.
Yes!
And the music gets worse and worse as he continues to go down on her.
Does the dad also walk in?
No, there's no one else in the house, but it's like, and you know what? That happens more than once in this book. Like, they're doing things at this piano. And it's his mother's piano, his dead mother's piano.
Yeah, this is his dead mother's piano.
Alright, so we read the same book.
Yeah, both unwanted marriage.
Unwanted marriages, no one's happy.
Oh, they also talk about sex positions in the, like, this book is just horny from page 1 to page, I don't know, 300 something. They are just always ready to go. I'm like, what are you, I'm done. I'm over it.
No plot, just all sex. I can't believe that. That scene. That's funny. Because I was going to talk about it. And you beat me to it. You know what? Since we're talking about the piano people.
Yeah, come on and tell me about unwanted marriage.
I'm just going to tell you about the unwanted marriage. So, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. The setup for the book's a little ick. So, his parents died in a plane crash. Her parents were also, or her mom was also on the plane. So he feels guilty because he was begging his parents to, like, come home for, like, an event when he was a kid or something. So, little kid brain goes, well, I'm the reason they died. Not because the plane sucked ass and crashed.
Right.
It's because he wanted them to come home early for whatever event he had going on. He was like, alright, Morgan. He was like a teenager or something at this time. And she is obviously very little. When they decide upon this arranged marriage, this grandmother does, because I guess the mothers were best friends, so they're like, oh, we can force them to be together. There's like a 13-year or something age gap or something. No, I don't know, 10. It's something ungodly because she's like 6. And they're like, we're going to marry her off to this boy who is way too old. You know what I'm saying? So there's like, he's got to wait forever for this woman to come of age of 18. I don't remember how long he actually waits. I think it's like her low 20s, but he's like 30s. Anyways, it's kind of icky. We're gonna move past it.
Like, if she was already an adult.
No, it had been
6.
So they had decided, like, when this poor child was 6, that she's gonna get married to this man.
No.
And not only that, so her father is a piece of shit and, like, controls her life and, like, makes her learn to play piano because Dion likes the piano. His mother liked the piano. Their mothers liked the piano. So now this poor child has to grow up trying to, like, be the perfect wife for him. He doesn't know any of this, of course. His grandmother didn't know any of this, but, like, the father's, like, making her do all this terrible shit to her.
So he doesn't know that he's marrying her?
He knows he's marrying her, but he doesn't realize that she's, like, being forced to do all these things.
He's not allowed to see her, right?
No, he could, but he chooses not to because he feels guilty.
Good choice not to go see your literal child.
No, he literally never, like, sees her, avoids her at all costs until, like, they are forced, until the grandmother's like, you're getting married this day. And he's like, crap. So now he has to, like, see this poor girl. Anyways, they're both traumatized, and it's all very sad. I love the book, though. But yeah, sex at pianos. What are we doing?
Well, why?
I don't know. And then she, like, never felt like she had freedom. So,
well, yeah.
The turmoil of this whole relationship is she buys her own house. And when he's gone, she, like, goes and hangs out at her own house.
By herself?
Mm-hmm. By herself. That was the turmoil. He's like, why do you need a place by yourself and you didn't tell me? And it's like, well, because she's never had anything and her father controlled all of her money and now she just wants to have something of her own. And it's like, she wasn't even doing it while he was home. He was, like, on a business trip and she'd, like, go cuddle up on her couch and
just a little
watch
staycation.
movies. Anyways, this was like, you don't want to be married. And then he, like, gives her divorce papers and is like, here, be free.
Okay, he needs to calm down.
Well, his grandmother was like, I'm worried that we've done the wrong thing for her because she was trying to
definitely.
Like, make sure she was, like, okay throughout the time. But the grandmother's like, maybe this wasn't the move. I feel like we're hurting her. Please, I will allow you all the divorce. So he gives her the papers and is like, here, you're free. Travel, do what you want. She never signs the papers. She travels and she's like, well, I'm really bored. And then goes back. Basically, she's like, this isn't what I wanted to do.
I'm bored, so I will return to my marriage.
Basically, she's like, this isn't as fun as I thought it would be. And she goes back. It's fine. The next book's even worse. The Broken Vows. Alright? Okay. So this is Zane and Celeste. They grew up in high school together. Same age. Love it. Hated each other throughout all of high school. And then she runs off to, like, Europe to do her college degree or whatever, and now she's back. And he's like, well, I treated her like shit. I'm going to make up for it. So, because I guess he always liked her or whatever. And he's, like, trying to win her over, and he wins her over, and then they're, like, dating, and all this, it's all going really, really, really well. And then her best friend, who you don't get to know about, is standing on a bridge, ready to kill herself. Alright?
What?
Now, hold on. I know. The best friend wasn't even really talked about. She seemed a little sketch, I'm not gonna lie. But you didn't really know anything, and then her best friend, like, calls her, like, crying or whatever, and is, like, freaking out. And now she's gonna, like, jump off this bridge. So she's standing on the edge of the bridge. Her, like, Celeste is walking up to her, and she's like, I can't sit here or whatever while you're gonna marry Zane. She's like, I'm in love with him. We've had an affair, blah, 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 all these things, okay? She's, like, saying these things to her. And then she jumps off the bridge. So she dies. They kill the best friend. This is...
The best friend who was having an affair with her boyfriend.
Yeah. She's like, I can't, like, live with you marrying him. I want to marry him, blah, blah, blah. I can't sit by and watch you because you'll forgive him. And all this crap. And that's how part 1 ends. I want you to know that. Yeah. How do you think when I was reading it? I had a heart attack. Because I was like, oh, this relationship's so good. And I was like, oh no. We are not halfway through this book. And then the best friend just kills herself. And then you, like, come in, like, 5 or 6 years later, or however many years later, and you learn about the whole fallout of everything that happened.
Does he confess? Was it real?
No! It wasn't real. She had borderline personality disorder with, like, a made-up scenario where everything he did was, like, in a relationship with her. So he would bring in flowers to his office just for himself because his mother always brought in flowers to the office.
Yeah.
So he'd bring in flowers, and then once they were, like, done, he would, like, throw them away, and she would, like, get them out of the trash and take them home and be like, oh, he gave me these, like, lilies or whatever. And she, like, made up every scenario, and you kind of, like, because she read the journal, and in the journal it, like, described everything he did, and you're like, okay. So I'm reading the book, and I was like, if this motherfucker cheated, I'm gonna scream. Like, I'm gonna be so mad, because who had time to cheat? Like, I don't want to believe it, but of course, like, the girl believed her dying best friend. But eventually, so they are now, the grandmother's like, I'm gonna marry you off to somebody. You're gonna marry Celeste. And he's like, anyone but her. Doesn't work. So they now are living together and, like, create a true hell for each other, which I adore. I love it when nothing goes right in people's households. It's great. But eventually she learns that she was a psychopath and was in the wrong, and then has to, like, grovel.
I don't feel like she should have to grovel over that.
Oh, she tanked his business, and his grandmother had to, like, save his business. Because she
okay, maybe.
So, listen, so when she left, before she left, she didn't tell him anything. She was like, I need you to admit that you cheated on me. He's like, I didn't cheat on you. Here's all the footage, like, from the office, from everything. Like, here's everything you'd ever want. She's like, I'm not convinced. You cheated because my best friend of however long said you did.
Grieving.
Yeah. So she gets a whole bunch of evidence against him to put him in the jail for, like, espionage and, like, all this insider trading bullshit. And he ends up in jail. Like, he's taken to jail. And that's when she, like, leaves. That's, like, the last thing he sees of her is when he was, like, in the cell. And then she goes. And then he about lost his business if the grandmother hadn't saved him. And then he then made it his, like, life's mission to almost, like, just to ruin her own business. Because they both own, like, hotel chains. Okay. So they're, like, competing people. And each time he just, like, over the years just knocks them down and almost makes them bankrupt, but never fully does it. Like, lets them get back up, knocks them down. Like, just killing this poor fucking business. So the grandmother's like, we gotta stop this. You're a nut job. You're ruining these poor people's lives. You gotta stop attacking these hotels. And he's like, fine. And then, like, a week later, she's like, oh, by the way, now you have to marry Celeste. And he's like, no. And it's like, I see that. I can see why he doesn't want to marry a girl who literally put him in jail. You know?
And she probably doesn't want to marry him either.
No, because she thinks, you know, he cheated and that he's the reason her best friend, like, killed herself. Anyways, Celeste eventually learns, like, she goes to a memorial of her friend, and the father of that girl was like, I need you to meet somebody. And she's like, I don't know. So she goes and meets the fucking girl's, like, psychiatrist, and is like, she was nuts. None of it was real. And now she's like, and she realizes she's wrong, and then she feels, like, real bad. And then they're trying to, like, build their relationship back, and it doesn't go well, to say the least. But it was a fun book to read. It wasn't fun. It was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, every turn, it's like, what is going on? The best friend, like, truly dying, really, was like, what?
You exist?
It's like, we met you twice, and now we're on a bridge with you, and oh, you're gone. Like, that was the events. But I still love that series. I don't care what anyone says. There's more to come. I think there's 2 more books.
Oh my god.
Well, there's like 6 siblings, like 5 boys and then 1 girl. I can't wait for the girl. Because I know she's going to be with one of the guys and like that keeps coming up. I can't wait. And she terrorizes everyone. And I love Sierra. She's amazing. And I can't wait for her book. I know it's going to be last, but you know, it happens. Alright, let's get through Behind the Mask because I don't really care about these books.
Yeah, tell me about, was this one of the BDSM books?
No.
Okay.
No, this is a mafia book. No, listen, I didn't fall into a BDSM, well, one of the novellas next week, maybe, but this week, I stayed clear of BDSM. Like, in a sense that I just can't, just too much. The second book in the series, Detonate, so we've got Grayson, ex-military. In the first book, I don't remember the main guy's name, but he left the mafia, right, to be with his wife or girlfriend or whatever. So there's an open hole as a right hand in the mafia, so Grayson takes it, okay? And then we have Maddie, who has no real background, and she just really loves love and wants, like, a good love. Her mother's a piece of shit, and it's like, you need to get married, you're getting old, you need to have babies. She's one of those mothers. Great. You need to find somebody. Clearly that works out really well. There's no plot. I can't tell you anything that happened. It's just all smut. That's all I got. Oh. No. I wrote down a quote for the first time in my life. An actual quote from the book. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, tell me.
So as this is like it's a flashback. Military. His best friend is like dying on the battlefield. Okay? I'm setting the scene. He starts coughing. Blood splatters out. I rest him on my lap. I'm sorry, he tries again. Sorry for what? Everything's going to be okay. For fucking Amelia. This guy who's supposedly his best friend has been fucking his wife. And this is when he tells him. On his deathbed. And then he dies. He dies.
No, you die with that secret.
You die with that secret. So he goes home and he's like, you fucked my best friend. He leaves. Divorces her. Gone. And now he's like sitting in a bar and he meets like the mafia people. I'm sorry. If I'm dying, I'm not using my last word to tell you I fucked your wife. You know what I'm saying?
It would be like, I don't know, tell my mom I love her. Tell my siblings.
I'm sorry. This is a moment I'm sorry for fucking your wife.
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
I don't think that's the time. You just die with that secret.
Yeah.
If he finds out, it's gonna be the wife who tells him who's still alive.
Nope. Yeah, and that's like his whole plot. Like his whole thing is like, I was screwed over. I'm never gonna love again. And of course, like this girl worms her way in. And he loves again, and then the wife shows up, which literally made no sense. The ex-wife came back and, like, busted into the house while they're doing it. Like, do you not lock your doors, sir? You just... anyways, they're, like, in the middle of doing it. And she, like, walks in. She's like, why are you fucking my husband? It's like, well, y'all are divorced. Haven't been together for 6 years. Simmer down, woman.
And you cheated on him.
She just wanted his money because now he's rich. But literally, that scene didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
She didn't need to come back. There was no point of that. Like, it didn't even cause any turmoil. Like, Maddie was like, you gonna join us or what? And it's like, well, that's a weird choice of words. And then she, like, storms off. But, like...
Do they share children?
No!
Okay, well,
Literally didn't need anything. She just came back because she wanted money. Like, wanted his money. And it's like, I'm sorry. And it's like, 6 years? You're sorry after a month. Not 6 years. Maybe a year. Alright. Yeah, I literally wrote what plot for my review of that book. The third book, Devoted. So now we're at Luca, who was the mafia leader.
Okay.
Okay? And Rosa, who is his rival's daughter. So he thinks, he's like, you know what I can do? I'm going to kidnap her. Turns out, the father doesn't actually like this daughter. So he doesn't care that she has been kidnapped, and it ruins all of his plans. But he kidnaps her. Yeah, he kidnaps her.
Why couldn't your dad love you?
Right. So she had some past trauma, okay? Some sexual assault happened to her, so she copes with, like, copious amounts of cocaine and alcohol. So she's an addict. A true addict. Like, will go in withdrawals. So he kidnaps her. And he, like, throws her in the basement. And then he's like, oh no, she might actually be, like, a they just thought she was a party girl, so she was an easy pick to take. No, she goes into withdrawals, and he's like, ah! So he's, like, trying to help her through that, and she's like, just give me a drink. Like, give me something. He's like, no, you're gonna detox because you're crazy. And he forces her to go through a whole detox while he's kidnapped her. Which, no, loose kidnapping, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, she has full range of the house. Full range. All the amenities. Except for alcohol. But yeah, so once he realizes that the father doesn't actually care that she's gone, he's like, well, I guess I can set you free, because there's no point for us to be doing this anymore. And then
Is she like, no, I don't want to go?
She's like, I don't really want to.
Can I just stay here?
She's like, no, this isn't for me. But he made a deal with some European mafia to gain intel on this guy, because since the daughter, that was a dead end, he agrees to marry the daughter of the European people. And he was like, I have to set you free because I cannot keep you. So he sets her free. She goes into the wild. And then she ends up also in, like, an arranged marriage. So they're just, like, supposed to be in arranged marriages, like, engagements. But they're, like, trying to get out of them, and they keep meeting up. So they're just whoring around the whole time. I approve. The other people were pieces of shit, so I'm allowing their slutting around. But their one thing was, throughout the whole book, they were like, one last kiss. Like, we'll be done. It was never a last kiss, okay? They just kept kissing.
Yeah.
That's all. I liked this book. It's probably my favorite in this series. I just really like the father was like, yeah, she's the worst daughter. I don't care. You do what you want. Kill her, don't kill her. It really ruined his plan.
Yep. Yeah, that would really put a crick in your plans.
It did.
I'm gonna kidnap this lady, and the father's gonna ransom.
Yep.
And the dad doesn't care. Well, damn.
Yeah, and really just, he was like, oh.
And instead, I have a responsibility now, because she is detoxing.
Yep, he even, like, calls in his mother at one point, and is like, can you help me? I don't know what to do with her. And I was like, oh, this poor mother. And they're like, him and the first guy from the first book, they're brothers, but they're adopted. Mm-hmm. And, like, they came up on the streets, and she was like, here, I will take you hood rats in, basically, and, like, loved them to death. Yeah. And now he's, like, calling her, like, I need help. She is struggling. Please help me. And this woman's, like, fighting him tooth and nail when he's trying to get her sober. But yeah, favorite book of the series. They have another one that's gonna come out in January, so we'll see how that goes. Okay. I'm gonna not talk about Meghan Quinn yet. I'll talk about her last. Alright, so I read Still Beating by Jennifer Hartmann. So I stopped reading blurbs a long time ago on books. Mm-hmm. I probably should have read one. This book had 3 parts. Okay, the first part was she gets kidnapped with her sister's fiance.
With or by?
With.
Okay.
By this serial killer.
Okay.
Who is called the, I think, like, matchmaker or something. So, he takes 2 random people that aren't together. And he took these 2, shoves them in a basement, ties them up, and does unspeakable things that I can't talk about.
Please don't.
Oh, I'm not. It's traumatizing, to say the least. Until they fall in love with each other. So once they start showing, like, signs of, like, caring about one another, the guy will kill them. So they're there for, like, weeks and weeks. And by, like, whatever day it is, like a month later or something, they get a tiny bit of freedom. So she is able to, like, escape. But it's a holiday, so the guy's not actually at work, the serial killer. So he just beats her up and brings her back down. But she, like, saw the calendar of, like, how many days everyone survived before them. And she's like, we're getting to the end of our time. We need to do something. So they end up getting out. And, of course, you're traumatized. So they've trauma bonded pretty hard.
Right.
So the second part of the book is, like, going through this terrible of, like, now they're back in the real world and everyone wants them to be normal. Like, the fiance is like, why aren't you having sex with me? He's like, kinda can't. Traumatized. And she doesn't get it. And she's like, I'm trying to be patient and whatever. So that relationship's to shit. I don't even know why he tried. But he eventually is like, breaks up with her. And he's like, I want to be with my trauma bond. And they try it. Doesn't work. And then he's like, you need to fix yourself, like, to the person he was with, Cora. He's like, you need to go to therapy. You need to fix yourself because we cannot be together because you're a nut job. And it's like, you're both a little crazy. And then the third part is, like, her fixing herself. And it's like, I'm glad you did a little bit. But, oh my God. I could never read this again. It's
No!
Like, it's like one that you read and it'll live rent-free in your head forever. I'm never going back.
Is that supposed to be a romance novel?
No,
Okay.
I don't know what it is. It was
Traumatizing.
it's like under dark-ish romance. I mean, it's got a lot of sex in it. That's fair. It's smutty. It's traumatized. That whole first part, you're like cringing all the way through every time. It's like, oh. And then you make it to the second part and it's like, this isn't much better. And then the third, you're like, okay, I guess I can allow it. But, yeah, it's like read with one eye closed type of thing. You're like, I don't know if I should be reading this. But you keep going because you gotta know how it ends. Yeah, just a traumatizing book. I gave it 5 stars, though. Now, hear me out.
Uh-huh.
The writing was good.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't recommend anyone else read it.
No, I don't think I would either.
No. On a happier note, you ready for my
Yeah,
last
tell me
book?
about Meghan Quinn.
Meghan Quinn. So the way I hate you, or the way I hate him. So the very beginning of the book, she let's see, she drops out of, she's getting her master's in business or something, and she fails because her sister died, and she's like trying to get through that. Like, the sister basically raised her. So she's trying to, like, deal with that, and she fails out of her last semester of her master's, like, degree. So she's coming home to, like, live with her boyfriend. She gets to her boyfriend's house, and he's like, you know what? I think we're done. I think we're done here, and, like, breaks up with her while she's going through this fun time in life. Oh, Lord. So she's like, well, I'm going to gather some things from the apartment. So she takes her stuff, and then she's like, well, what's in this box? And then she realizes it's a box of everything this guy has stolen from his boss. And his boss is, like, a musician, a famous musician. So she's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take all this stuff and give it back to the boss. So she goes to this guy's house and is like, here's your shit. And he went, oh, you stole that shit? And he's like, I can either call the cops or you can work for me. So, of course, she chooses the work for me option. Does she make it easy on him? No. Which I love dearly. Like, she picks the second option, but does she do it with grace? Absolutely not. Like, she's supposed to read his, like, fan mail and, like, clean up his house because it's left in array. Like, that was what the assistant was supposed to do. Well, obviously, he got fired because he's been stealing shit from his boss. But they go through the time, and then they get together. But I love Meghan Quinn. I don't know if I'll ever find a book I'm gonna say I'm gonna hate, but she's wrote. It's just, it's good. But the girl, her family, since the sister died, her sister owned a business and had a kid. So the kid was sent to live with the brother, and then the other sister got the business, and they told her that she wasn't allowed to do anything because she was supposed to focus on getting her degree. So she's, like, real heartbroken because, like, she helped build that business. She's like, I don't understand why my sister would do this. So she's dealing with the death throughout the whole book, and I think it was done pretty well. But at the end, you were like, oh, so it was, you know, in the will that she wasn't allowed to help because she obviously wanted her to focus on getting her degree without worrying about the business and stuff. And they knew she was dying because she had cancer, so it's not like a sudden death. It was like, crap, it's happening. So she, like, planned everything, and then she, like, sent her all this crap for her birthday. It was like, for the first birthday without me, here's all this stuff. And it's like, oh, my heart. Anyway.
Did she end up going back to business school? No.
No, she hated it anyway. She's like, I fucking hate this, and I refuse to go back. And everyone's like, are we sure? And she's like, yes, I'm done here. But she already has her bachelor's, and she's not going to use it anyways because she's going to run a family business. So it's like, I get it. Don't go back. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But the main thing was, like, that was what the sister wanted. Was like, you've got to, you know, work on you. And she's like, I don't want to. And I was like, okay. Like, I get it. But I love Meghan Quinn. That's all. That's all I got.
Do you have any red flags and triggers from your books?
Yeah, don't get kidnapped outside of a bar. That's it.
No, I feel like there's red flags.
Oh, there's red flags in all these books. Like, I don't know, Dion being arranged to marry a 6-year-old, it's kind of cringe.
If he tanks your hotel business repeatedly,
Listen,
maybe that's a red flag.
She shouldn't have put him in jail. If your girlfriend's best friend dies by jumping off a bridge, maybe look into that. She wasn't well in the head. Okay, we should have known that before. But we chose to ignore that. And we listened to everything that woman said and believed it. Because it was her dying words. And it's like, but he gave you all the evidence to prove you that he wasn't a cheater. And you were still like, cheater. So that's what I got there.
Okay. Goodreads reviews.
Oh gosh. I tried to look up Goodreads reviews for Unwanted Marriage and Broken Vows. I was immediately mad. I was like, I can't agree with anything you all are saying, like the 1 stars. It was like, oh, it's all this, and I'm like, yeah, but like, it's still good. I just couldn't get on with it. Did you find any?
I found one for the Viscount. A lot of them are just like, they hate her. And we've already covered that territory about how maybe you can be a little sympathetic with a woman who was like, my only option is to run away and get married.
Yeah, I mean, like, at least pretend to see it from her point of view. Jesus.
I know. Yeah, a lot of them were that. But this one was from Joe. Glacial pacing, fair, unlikable hero, and lying heroine. Actually, I think they're both pretty likable if you set aside, like, all of the noise around them.
Yeah.
Flabby writing with barely any plot. I don't think I have a commentary on the writing, honestly, except for, like, just one sex scene and then be done. Like, there's so many.
Yeah, there's a few of these books that it's like every other chapter, and I'm like, oof, we're struggling.
But I really picked this one because I do recommend the audio version for falling asleep to, though. So boring it sent me off twice.
Oh my god, what a review. That's like a slap in the face review. Like... I can't. That one's bad.
The review right underneath of that one is a book full of manipulative women. There's like one. There's one woman.
It sounds like there's many to that person. Maybe they just have bad experience. Oh, the reviews for the still beating one were as expected. Like, why would I read this? I should have DNF'd it. Why didn't I DNF it? And then, okay, I have a bone to pick with the Goodreads commenters, the reviewers, people.
Yeah, tell me more.
So this person, I'm not going to name names here, but...
I like going like, so Joe said. Darlene said.
It's Mariva, okay? Mariva. Okay, 1 star. If you like this book, cover your eyes because I'm pretty sure this is my meanest review to date. Y'all already know the drill. This is a 1-star review, therefore spoilers ahead. Bitch, I don't know you. No one fucking follows you for your reviews, and if they do, what are they doing? You know the drill. You're
think,
a little entitled, honey. You're
I think
a little
a lot
entitled.
of people on Goodreads also have like some other review website somewhere else. Because otherwise, I cannot imagine why you are writing
But who
like
is seeking,
essays.
Who is seeking out these reviews
Well,
on books?
I'm thinking that like there are book blogs that exist that people read, and I think she's really addressing them, and she's copied and pasted it into Goodreads.
Well, that's fine, but like, how about let's not
edit it down for Goodreads?
because like, just like, y'all already know the drill, ma'am.
Yeah,
ma'am. And there are a lot of people who interact with. I don't understand the world of review and commenting, but like,
no. Why would you comment
look
back?
how long this is. Are you ready?
There are memes.
There's memes, more memes, more memes.
There's a GIF.
A fucking novel, and then people are like replying, like, "Oh my god, I agree." And then someone wrote, "I actually liked the book, but everything you said. Who cares?
I don't.
What is this narrative
I
here?
like you just need like a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So you
like all I need to know is like, do I want to burn my eyes out or do I want to continue like reading? Like, what? I mean, my God. Who writes that much? And then someone else posted, like, they wrote a review and then they wrote, "Here's my friend's review for those interested," and put a link. I barely cared about your review. Why would I search out your friend's review? You know what I'm saying? Come on, people. I'm not here for a dissertation on a novel that clearly is meant to you're just supposed to read it. Like, just read it. And tell me, like, are you traumatized or not traumatized?
No.
Because you should be. If you're not, then whatever. But, like, my God.
Sorry, I just saw another review.
Oh, go ahead.
Davina wrote, "If I could give it lower than 1 star, I would. I feel Portia portrayed a terrible character, and by passing off her child as the heroes, showed that she had no morals." Again! Trying to save her baby. She should have given the child up for adoption. It is like 1800 England. What choices do you think they have? I want to know, what choices do you think they have?
They have all the choices.
If we can't even get babies adopted in modern day America, what choices do you think they have in 1800 England? I would love for you to tell me what you think the world is like.
It's very pleasant for a woman that is pregnant out of wedlock.
Yeah, incredibly pleasant. Who is entirely reliant on the man in the situation. She makes it very clear that she's got no money.
She has no options.
She isn't supposed to leave her little mistress house.
Like, no options.
Nothing in it is hers. And her entire life is designed to please this man who has locked her away in London under the pretense that he will eventually marry her one day. Maybe.
I swear.
What choices do you think she has?
Clearly, she doesn't have to get married, I think is what they're getting at here.
Yeah. As for Killian, also known as Locke, truly devastating that he forgave her so quickly when she lied to him for so long. He deserved better, in all honesty, and Portia did not deserve him. Listen, it's not up to you. If he forgives her.
Oh, God.
I think he's more upset that she didn't just tell him than about the actual illegitimate child. Because he's really fine with that.
Yeah.
Because he also was raised with other children that weren't like his siblings.
Sure.
Because they were his dad's wards. Because their parents all died. And so he's like, yeah, it's great to take care of other people's children. And what's wrong with that?
Yeah, he's okay with it.
Like, his whole backstory sets him up to be like, yeah, I'll take care of your child.
Sure. What the hell, right?
I just... Sorry. Either you get people who are like, historical accuracy, no. having no idea what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Or you get people who are like, why can't they just like have these modern solutions
to these not modern problems?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's the whole point of it set in that time period, people. It makes sense.
Just, yeah. I'm gonna exit off of this page. What do you have?
Full review in my next vlog.
Shut up. I really feel like the Goodreads reviews should be like...
I just want it to be normal
It
people
should-
who have, like, one sentence opinions.
It should be... Or like a 3-sentence story.
Like, you don't get more than a paragraph.
The setup, the context, the punchline.
Yeah, that's it. I don't need to know every little plot point you thought was stupid or didn't follow.
Yeah,
I don't care. Okay, I read the same fucking book. I just want to know if my opinion lines up with yours, and clearly I just don't write novels after reading books. I wouldn't even know how to come up with a review for a book that long. I don't have that many things to say.
Oh, I could do it.
I know you could. I couldn't, and I refuse to read them.
The problem is, I don't want to give it the effort or my time.
But
I have
people
other things to
though.
do.
They're like, here is my full information.
And I want to... Do they, like, make a living off of writing these book
There's
reviews?
no way. Maybe they get $1 off their blogs or something. I don't know.
I can't... I have no idea. This is a whole
I don't know anything
area
about the book
of the internet
community.
I don't understand.
I just wanted to read funny 1-star reviews because some of them are gold, but now I'm getting into, like, full fucking reviews here. Like, my God.
We're book community adjacent.
Yeah, we're not in it. We're, like, looking at it from the outside window going, what is happening in there? And then we keep walking down the road.
Yeah.
Okay, we, like, walk by and we're like, well, that looks interesting. Look in and we go,
never mind.
no.
There's too much noise.
Yeah. Like, see this 1-star review about Devoted. What the fuck was this? That's all I want. Okay, that's the review I want. Those are the reviews I want. Those people, they fucking get it. Like, TikTok lied. You know? They get it. Another book that got DNF'd this week with crying emojis. These are the reviews I want to know. I don't need to know your whole fucking opinions.
I hope that there's a Goodreads reviewer out there who gives them all in emojis.
Just straight emojis, just like a sad face. Happy crying face.
Yeah.
Knife emoji. Means I want to kill myself because I read this fucking book. But I just... Like, I'm sorry. This one says this book should have remained in Wattpad. Like, extremely overrated. See, these are the reviews I'm here for. Not your novels. No. Like, 5-star, I love this series and each book just keeps getting better and better. Okay, I can get on board with these reviews. 3.7, that's what someone said. That's it. That's all I had to say. I feel like there should be a maximum word count like Twitter.
I tried to, because I saw that Goodreads had filters, but they don't have a word count filter.
I need a length count. Like,
Yeah.
are you going over 2 lines? I don't want to read it. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with it. At all. I'm trying to see if there's any more, because I know. Oh, let's see what people have to say about Meghan Quinn, because I will take no opinions. I'm sorry, but I won't. DNF'd at 75%? Why didn't you just finish it? You made it 75% of the way through?
Mm-hmm.
No, DNF in the first 50. I said what I said. Finish it out. Let them be terrible, okay? Sorry, now I'm just stuck in a Goodreads hole.
Okay, so did you get the bingo working?
Oh no,
Okay.
no, we're bingo's having some technical difficulties.
So no smut bingo.
I can tell you, I probably would have got bingo on half these.
We
books.
can go down our just a list and see if anything like funny comes up
Yes.
from looking at
Okay,
it.
we
Since
can.
we don't have
let me-
the actual cards.
Let me pull that up. Yeah, I know. Oh, ball tightening man. It was still around. It's always around. I don't know which book. I can tell you it was there.
I don't have ball tightening.
Boo.
I don't really have mommy or daddy issues, but that does remind me. So she comes from like, her dad's like a clergyman or whatever, and she has red hair, by the way.
Oh,
and he's like,
everyone
that's the
hates-
sign of the devil in you. And so he beats her. And when she runs away, her husband, for some reason, decides to go to her family, who she very much was like, no, I have nothing to do with them. And the dad is like, she's got the devil in her. And the husband just beats the shit out of him. And I'm like, go you. Yeah.
Hell yeah, take up for the redheads. Alright, I'm gonna only speak to broken vows when I go through this smut bingo. We've got to say that, otherwise I will hit every single one of these. Ball tightening, definitely. Mommy and daddy? I mean, dead mommy and daddy, right? Dad, terrible to the girl, awesome. We've got those issues.
He has mommy issues because he's like, I've seen what my dad losing his true love did to him. I will not fall in love. You know, that whole nonsense. He's got that nonsense
Of course.
going on. We have big dick can't fit in the sense that this woman who came in, a mistress, so she knows what she's doing in the bedroom.
She is aware.
She's like, if I didn't know that it would fit, I would be afraid.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, calm down. Can you?
But then that begs the question.
9 months you're going to be pushing a baby out of it.
We all know it can fit if a baby comes out of there. That's like the funniest statement ever. People are like, oh, I don't know if that'll fit. And it's like, babies come out of there. Y'all do know, like, babies. Full grown ass babies. Infants are pushed out of those holes. Like, I think a dick can fit. Okay? We're saying it. What else?
I don't know. That's another thing. There was so much sex, but it also just wasn't really memorable. There was a moment, though, where I just, like, laughed really hard. Because he was making her finish, and he was like, fly.
Hold the phone.
Like, that was the line. Fly.
Fly?
And I did.
For what, 20 seconds? Jesus Christ. I swear. Oh, emotional drinking. It always happens in every single one of her books in this series. Because the guys have a poker night in this book. And then the girls hold an anti-poker night, which is very funny. But the guys will get everyone, whoever is like the main person of the book, will get super drunk at these poker nights, and then they send them off to like go make mistakes, and it's amazing. Like, they'll show up at people's doors drunk. It's just not good for them, but it happens every time, and it's wonderful.
I definitely have drawn to each other, you know, lust at first sight, ready to bang from the get-go. A secret identity.
Oh, you got a secret identity?
Well,
that's fair.
I feel like, you know...
No, you're right. I'm not even going to argue. That's very right with that book. Yep. I'll give it. That one's full on. Full on.
Not kidnapping. I don't really remember how big she is. So
mine was petite.
I don't remember. I feel like she's, like, average.
A little tiny,
like,
petite
it was
girl.
really weird reading this book because I was like, it's just Kayla.
Oh, I hate that. Boo.
And you know what? This book was set up for dirty talk, and there wasn't.
Oh, that's a shame. Mine definitely had dirty talk. Oh, let's see.
Definitely didn't want a relationship.
Was she a virgin? I don't think so. One of them were. Dion's book, she was. Was Celeste? I'm going to say Celeste wasn't a virgin. We're going with it. Going to go with a no. So I can't take that one. I don't know. There's so many it hits on. It's just, might as well, like, there's just so many. Say You're Mine. I'm pretty sure he did that 1,000 times. I don't know if there was a good girl, though. There might have been. We shall never know.
Yeah, I don't, like, this book was more memorable for being ridiculous than anything else about it.
That's fair. Sometimes you just gotta remember it.
It was a fun read. It did, like, drag on.
Yeah.
It was like, can we get to the plot?
Like, is anything happening, or are we just
can
talking?
we get to the plot?
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And it wasn't helped that she fakes you out with the first sex scene.
Wait, explain yourself.
That's when he catches the dad running into the moors.
Oh, okay.
They were about to have their wedding night,
Yeah.
And she's all hot and bothered, and he looks out the window and sees his dad streaking across the lawn. And he has to run after her, and he comes back and she's asleep. And he's like, well, I'll leave her alone.
Fine. I'll allow it.
So she fakes you out with the first sex scene.
Which
only made it more annoying.
Yeah, that's just like, what are we doing? Are we doing it, not doing it? Just do it.
And I have to say, there were so many, sometimes when I read, I see directions that the book could take.
Yeah.
And they're always so much more exciting.
Well, that's why you can't get your hopes up.
Well, like, she's like, I don't get sick. And I'm like, oh, so she's eventually going to follow the dad into the woods because he has to go off somewhere and get sick from being, like, exposed at night in the English North. And that doesn't happen. I'm like,
damn. Yeah, sometimes that happens, and I'm like, why didn't this happen? You set it up and you just let it slide.
It's just there.
And
it's just
you
dangling.
had the setup. You could have just full on did it.
Yeah.
That's alright.
Yeah. Okay, so I pick a book.
Well, you would, but you know.
You don't have a book?
I mean, you can pick a book.
This is how I picked that book. As I didn't even look. The bags are sitting directly behind me on the couch, and I just reached behind me into the bag, and that's how I picked up Lorraine Heath.
Alright, go ahead. Pick a book.
Let's go with one. In Safe Hands.
Oh, okay. You know what? I feel like that's gonna be right up my alley of bullshit.
Rocky Mountain Search and Rescue.
Oh no.
Julianne Walker of the USA Today and best-selling author for Hold Your Breath has a blurb on the front saying, sexy and suspenseful. I couldn't turn the pages fast enough.
Well, we'll see about that, won't we? Chills and thrills. And a sexy, slow-burning romance. Slow burning.
Yeah, how slow is slow really gonna be in a traditional paperback?
I'm gonna say we're not gonna have sex until about here.
You know what? I'm fine with that. I'm okay when sex is like
250
is in the middle of the book. I don't need it first thing. Yeah. I'm over it at that point.
I'm gonna mark that and see how right I am. Cause I want to know.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all we got.
That's all, folks.
Oh, stop.
What do you do on?
We do this every time.
You know, like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Apple, leave a review.
Yes.
Yeah, please do that. That would be helpful. Spotify doesn't do that, I don't think.
I don't know.
Give us your favor. Goodbye.